He's good. He has his bad meeting scheduled for Wednesday. So I'm really cancel because.
No, that's important.
Yeah.
People on Zoom. Okay. So I can help, I can moderate if there's questions or anything, I can just tell you. Perfect. So you did for yeah, we can start 2 or 3 minutes. We have 5 people on Zoom. Okay. This is the first time you've done hybrid? Yes. So hopefully there's no technical hiccups. Okay. So you want to give for after? That's the key. You also study about? Sorry, you study about? Yeah, I'm in reading. Okay. You're around here?
Yeah.
Good job, right? Yeah. Okay. Did I be blocking the screen, right? Uh, I don't think so. We can move it to the side if you like. Yeah. Because there will be something going on. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming back to studio in person, and for those of you online, which I believe there's 6 of you, thank you for joining online. Can everybody online hear me all right? Maybe give me a thumbs up. And perhaps it'll be a good idea to unmute the computer, so if anybody wants to speak up, yeah. Can you all hear me online?
Okay, we have a
Thumbs up. And can someone try saying something online?
Chyba falcie.
okay.
Okay, yeah, we haven't quite figured out the technical aspects of getting you to come through the big speaker, but I think
Oh,
for
okay.
now,
Yeah, I think it will
this
be
will
fine.
work out.
Yeah.
So we are excited to have Harivamsa with us here today. He has given talks in the past at Wisdom Wednesdays, albeit though all the way from across the world in India, oftentimes in his AM and our PM.
Mhm.
And for those of you who are meeting him virtually or in person for the first time, he comes from quite an interesting background, in my personal opinion, which is he grew up in India and he was quite the academic Typically in America, we give the ACT or SAT to get into college. There they have college entrance exams, and there he ranked number 2 in all of India. So, like the second smartest person in the entire country for that specific grade, if I were
That's a
to
hyperbole.
simplify it. Then he came to America. He did a PhD at Stanford. He became a professor. But throughout this entire time, he had a bit of a calling towards spirituality. And now, as you can see, it doesn't look like he's a big businessman or anything. He's wearing simple clothes of a saint. He is now actually dedicated his life to preserving and studying Sanskrit literature, Sanskrit texts, which are from Bhakti Yoga, the way of life, the way of living a spiritually connected life. So today's topic is procrastination, which in itself I think is quite an interesting topic, and we'll see how we can apply these concepts from Bhakti Yoga into this phenomena that unfortunately most of the world suffers from.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Those of you online and those of you here, thank you, Anne, for giving me the opportunity. I hope it's audible also online, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so procrastination. Pros means forward, castination, tomorrow. So procrastination means forward something to tomorrow, right? And we used to have a song in Hindi, but we'll do it in English. Why not tomorrow? Why do it tomorrow? Let's do it today. And if not today, do it in the moment. Because if a calamity will happen, you would have to lament. So I just made it up and not use ChatGPT. So that means we are proactive about our work, but the opposite could be also said. Why do it now if you can do it tomorrow? And if not tomorrow, you can do day after tomorrow. Because there is whole life to live. What's the cause for sorrow? That also is just done, or maybe done in the car. So procrastination makes us just forward things. And we'll analyze this dis-ease today. Now, this is not the disease of the body like we understand it, and you're a doctor there, as you understand about the teeth. But disease also means something, a phenomenon which adversarially affects us. So procrastination affects us, right? People have saying, one has not gotten his one who has not missed his flight has not gotten his priorities right. Let me repeat. One who has not gotten one who has not missed his flight has not gotten his priorities right. But maybe the person who has missed a lot of flights is trying to justify missing those flights. Sometimes we procrastinate and go at the last moment. I know a person, somebody was telling, he reached the airport quite early. And then he thought, what will I do here? Now in India, you cannot get out after you check in, but in US, you can get out after you check in. So he just took his boarding pass and he went out for shopping. And then they came back. Good, the flight was not early and there were not big lines, so he didn't miss his flight. But other folks would get a little palpitation of heart. I mean, how can you check in and then go out? And if it is a Seattle airport, it's quite tough. Tacoma Airport. So this is a disease. It can adversarially affect us. A graphic example of procrastination is seen in the classrooms, or how the work progresses as the semester progresses. And I have the fortune to experience it from both sides of the table. As a student, and as a professor. Hello. So it looks something like that. Is it working? Yes. Work per day and the bar from the beginning of the assignments to the submission of the assignments. When the person works and he is not affected by the disease of procrastination, he thinks maybe I'll work like that. I'll work a little bit in the beginning of the assignment. Yeah. And maybe some festivals will come, I'll dance a bit. And then towards the end, I'll increase my work, right? That's the general way in which we plan out. But when the disease of procrastination, or rather disease of procrastination affects us, how does it look like? It looks like this. Okay, which means, by the way, the online folks have access to the presentation. Okay, good. So, in the beginning, the person after getting the dis-ease of procrastination, well, who should work till the last moment? That's like saying a person who has never missed the flight has not gotten his priorities right. Only at the last moment. Let's take another academic example. This is beginning of the semester, and the person thinks I'll just append the work little by little towards the final exams. Then as the semester kicks in, how about like push things after the middle of the semester? Have fun in the beginning of the semester. Then let's put it at the 1/3 of the semester, right? And then a little more, then a little more, then it just skyrockets. We used to have this phenomenon in our colleges. Whole throughout the semester, no study. Just before the exam, find the smartest guy. And in India, there's a culture that I mean, here also, I think the slippers we put it outside the room. So one fine day you'll come and see what a congregation of slippers outside the room. Why? Because that's the room of the smartest guy, and everybody is congregating there to just mug up as much as possible. When? Just the day before the examination. That's what Christopher Parker says. Procrastination is like a credit card. It's lot of fun until you get the bill. It's like a credit card. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's fun. Push. We'll do it. Find the smartest guy. But we have to mug up a lot also. Actually, individual level, it affects us. Social level, it affects us. And even at a global level, procrastination has done a lot of damage. Climate change, especially in developing countries. Well, developed countries also went through their lot. The rivers in America in 18th century were heavily polluted when the Industrial Revolution started, and England also. Somehow they caught it, grabbed it, and turned the table around. But now if you look at developing countries, too much development, too fast. But what about climate change? Procrastinate. We'll do it later. First, let's get the bucks. But it has done the damage to our environment. And even if a developed country tells a developing country that manage your footprint, the developing country will say, well, you had your fun. What about us now? And it's not only developing countries, even developed countries to their level of advancement, we see the high seas pollution crisis, right? Again, procrastination. Sometimes it even gets political, right? It's not even there. I sometimes think, how can science be polarized? Either I have a nose or I do not have a nose, right? You cannot toss a coin and say, right? Or if you get heads, you have a nose, otherwise you don't have. So even at a global level, procrastination, the disease of procrastination has affected in a multifarious manner. So let's analyze first the disease. That will be the first part of the talk. Then I'll pause and take reflections. Second part would be the antidote. Okay, what is the antidote? And we'll draw wisdom from the yoga text, Eastern tradition, like that, and even some modern psychological traditions. And finally, the third part would be the guiding principles of navigating through this very contagious disease of procrastination. Yeah, you be around a person who procrastinates a lot, you'll get it. It's, and be around a person who just does things of time. We'll first feel guilty, I'm not doing it, and then we'll get that good good habit as well. All right, so with me so far? Three big causes of the disease. But maybe let me ask you first, what do you think could be the reason why we procrastinate our things about our health or our work, or maybe investing in relationships? It can be, or climate change, whatever, it could be many things.
Maybe a feeling of discomfort and
Okay,
yeah.
discomfort in the present um, circumstances. If I do this, it will be like, okay, it's too much, too soon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good one. Yeah. What else?
Very difficult.
Oh, yeah. Prabhakar, it's very difficult. It's the same thing, discomfort, right? Apurv?
Laziness, you're going to be happy right now.
I think it's all connected, right? Unwillingness to sacrifice for the future because the present is too easy. And the easier path versus the right path. We can put it that way. Your name?
Franco.
Franco, Himanshu, or Harivamsa? Yeah.
I will say lack of knowledge.
Wow, you hit. Okay, lack of knowledge. But maybe I'll ask the online, I can ask them. Yeah. So anybody wants to say what do they think as the cause for this disease? One of the causes. Okay, Manya, happy to see you. Yeah.
I was thinking about lack of purpose or value that you find in the task.
Okay, so the task, you see it as a task, but there is no higher purpose pegged to it, right? I think we can all encapsulate it, what Manya, you said. And okay, Angeline, if I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I think it just disappeared.
She said immovable fear.
Immovable fear. Wow. Okay. I think we can all encapsulate that into lack of awareness. So, awareness captures many things. First, lack of knowledge, as Franco said, lack of this knowledge about purpose, as Manya also said, and lack of foresight into the future. We think that if we just do it, whatever things we are doing it now, push it into the future, maybe we'll manage it, but maybe we'll not manage it. As it happens in that example where you push the study towards the end, and you catch the smartest guy, and the smartest guy is as dumb. And then you figure out, oops, I made a mistake, or you just sleep. So it's just lack of awareness. All right, that can be one reason. Other reason is poor priority management, not time management. Priority management. Priority management comes before awareness. Because if the priority is there, the priority to crack the exams properly, then maybe I'll do at least some effort now. The priority is that I should stay healthy, so I will not procrastinate going to the gym and exercise. it's a very common phenomenon that many of the health resolutions are made in the first week of the new year, and already 1 week into the year, they drop down by 90%, more than 90%. Lack of priority, right? If the priority was health, then maybe I will not procrastinate. But this priority management is a tough nut because, well, how to give priorities to things? There are too many things. Broadly, psychologists classify tasks into a quadrant, and this might be interesting to you. The quadrant looks like that. Anybody seen this? Yeah. So we have either important or not important tasks, or we have urgent or not so urgent tasks. Okay, let me repeat. Important, not important. Urgent or not urgent. Now let's look at the last quadrant here. Not important and not urgent. Huh? Yeah. What do you, can you give example of such tasks like not important and not urgent? TikTok videos?
Those are urgent important.
Come again?
Those now are urgent.
Good one. That shows us how we have toppled the entire hierarchy. Yeah, TikTok videos, what else?
Yearly health checkup, maybe.
Oh, well, wait. So a good hit, but maybe there is a place for that. Early health checkup, okay. What do you think as the other not important, not urgent?
For people.
Yeah, in general, or specifically to you if you have.
For in people is meditate.
Oh, so you're saying not important and not urgent activities meditation
For people, yes.
for
Not
people.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Because it's a connection with meditation and wasting my time. I'm not doing
Yes.
nothing productive.
Interesting. Yes, people may have different, they may have different buckets. So TikTok video is like that, not important, not urgent. I have one more thing which can be not important, not urgent. Use gossip. Oh, it doesn't serve any purpose, right? Oh, you know what I have to tell you about somebody. And then it can just eat up the entire time, right? Plus, it changes the view about that person, right? You know, the Chinese whisper problem. I think we should just remove the word Chinese out of it, right? It's Indian whisper, it's South American whisper, it's just a global whisper problem. You say hello to somebody, and what will come out? Maybe bye. Things just change. You know, in India, we have curries, we put something called masala. I don't know if you've heard about it. That's the spices which we. Speaking about spices, long time back in 16th century, in Portugal and Spain, the peppercorns were really worth their weight in gold. Now what we see, you know, the pepper, and we think, oh, pepper. We may even use the word pepper for our beards also, salt and pepper. But there would be, you know, robberies to get that few peppercorns. And you can be very rich. So masala, peppercorns, any condiments. You tell an item to another person, he or she will put their own masala in it, their own spices. So after 10 persons, what you get is an amazingly spicy item, which is very far removed from the original product. That's actually not important and not urgent. What do we do with these items? Not important, not urgent? Huh?
Not on our priority.
Not on our priority list. Okay. Anybody else want to say what do we do with them? Huh? Nothing. I really like that word. Nothing. Yes. Or delete. Maybe what you shift delete, right? Or delete and go to the trash and make sure they don't exist. Delete. How about now? Not urgent, but important. important but not urgent. So what did you mention? Annual health checkup, right? Imagine, right? And some people really get nervous about it. The moment they remember any task, it must be done now. And their random access memory just burns. So what do we do with these tasks, which are very important? I mean, we should do the health checkup. And, now the 30s are the new 40s, by the way, and the 40s are the new 50s, by the way. So whatever people were doing at 50s, 60s, better we do at 40s and 30s. So we have to do it, but not now. So what do we do with them? Decide later. And we may forget also, by the way. Our memories are also declining. So note it down. Decide later means note it down so that we don't forget. I think these days, unless we are heavily investing in building our memories, good to not trust our memories also. Yeah, because oftentimes we slip. Now let's go to the second quadrant. Urgent but not important. What are these items? Like urgent but not important. Any guesses? Like you met somebody, right? You met somebody on the road and you just can't say no.
Answering your wife.
Urgent but not important. Yeah, it's urgent, but it could be a very casual thing. And even if you don't do, nothing will happen, but better do because something can happen. So that's a good one. Any other example? Huh?
Network.
Yeah. So networking, you just run into somebody, we have to respect, but it's not very important. So what do we do with that?
Put on the priority list, but.
Okay, with a but, with a quotes. If you can delegate it. I mean, not responding. If you can delegate, you can delegate. And I mean, those who are in leadership positions and so many things keep on coming. So delegate. That's one mantra for leadership. Delegate. But if you can, deal with it. Just deal with it, like without it bearing so much on your head. Now we come to the quadrant where everything generally starts crowding, right, these days. And everybody demands that we better put the item concerning them in your first quadrant. That's urgent and important. By the way, any item which is urgent and important, well, for me, meditation in the morning, that's like the food for the soul, as important as food for the body. So what do you think are the other items which are important and urgent? Well, a calamity. Or you have had such an argument with your loved ones that you have started rolling your eyes. You know the rolling the eyes? When somebody says, oh. So clinical psychologists have told that if that thing happens, take it important and urgent, because empirical studies have shown the rolling of the eyes means it's really gone down the hill. So that has to be taken care at a very urgency. It's important. Do immediately. So one of my friend, when he got newly married, he said that we decided amongst themselves, the spouse and the husband and the wife, that if we had a bitter argument, we won't sleep till we resolve to some level. Because we are generally very different person we wake up when we wake up. We often wake up on the different sides of the bed, as they say. Wrong sides, north sides, south sides, with a crazy mind. So if it's not resolved, it can simmer, right? It can simmer and then it can heat up. So this is priority management. And now we can see here that how items we can move around. When poor priority management is there, then things go topsy and turvy. and procrastination happens. Because the important items are there in the fourth quadrant. They must be there in the first quadrant. All right? So that's the second cause. What was the first cause of the disease? Lack of awareness. Second was poor priority management. And third is very evident. What do you think? Last cause.
Not taking action.
Huh?
Not taking action. I don't know.
Not taking action. Well, that is what happens after the disease comes. Think of mobile phones. Voluntarily chosen distraction.
Voluntarily.
VCD. We are voluntarily chosen. One of my friend would say that, hey, looks like we have a disease of a hand. What do you mean? This is as we are talking. Automatically, this hand will have a mind of its own. And it will start like this. It will go in the pocket. And we are talking, right? Even I do not know, the hand knows it. The mobile phone will come and the doomsday scrolling will start. I mean, how did this happen? Well, it happened. Kids would say, I mean, this used to be common in America, now more so in India also. Mom, how can I do homework if there is no TV? Well, do you need a homework? Do you need a TV for homework? Well, no, but yes. Or how can I write my assignments or do my coding if there is no background score? Just think about it. Actually, life does not have a background score. Only movies have, and they get Oscars for it. We don't have it, right? But then we might voluntarily choose it, and that distraction kind of goes to distract us from our priorities or awareness, or just we get stuck in a for loop, right? Just a for loop, and time elapses, and we are in that same state as we were there earlier, right? Everything pushed off. So this is the disease part. Okay. I'll pause here for a minute. Any reflections? I think we already had good reflections. Okay. So maybe I'll continue. As a result of it, what happens? The rational decision maker in our head. So this is the head of a person. Those are his eyes, by the way, not the noodles. Those are the eyes. And we all think, oh, I am the rational decision maker. I always think rationally. Come on. I vote rationally. Didn't you know that? Studies show that not many people vote rationally. Why? Because there's a guy around. Instant gratification monkey. So this is called the rider and the elephant effect. We'll come to the yoga wisdom part, but the psychologists have told that there is like a elephant is there, a big burly elephant, and then there's a rider. The rider is a teeny tiny guy. It can control the elephant, but generally the elephant is mad. And the elephant has found somebody to whom he can rush, he elephant, a she elephant, and they are in rut. Then the rider is gone, maybe he'll be thrown away. So generally, it is the elephant which rules. And that's what the modern studies show also, that people vote according to their emotions, not intelligence. Why? Because the instant gratification monkey can be made to replace the rational decision maker. Now we come to a very canonical text of Gita, of yoga wisdom called Bhagavad Gita, and it talks about the 4 characteristics of mind. Okay, so Sanskrit and English word, and these are exotic words, so maybe we can repeat. Chanchalam, which means restless. Restless. Pramathi, agitating. Balavan, which means strong, and Dridham means obstinate. Okay, so mind is restless, agitating, strong, and obstinate. Now let me give an example with Buddhist texts also give. Mind is like a monkey, which is restless. I have enough realizations about it because the place I stay is crowded by at least 40,000 monkeys. It's a disaster, environmental disaster which has happened. And even if they have few bananas in front of them, they will not eat just peacefully. Even if they are at the dominance hierarchy, monkeys have the dominance hierarchy, like we also have dominance hierarchy. We kind of have a pecking orders, right? Who is high, who is low. We're just talking about it. And the monkeys also have, even then, they are very restless, generally restless. And their eating mechanisms are also very crazy. They take the food and store it here. They keep putting it here so that nobody will grab. It's such restless nature. That's not enough. The yoga texts tell us what monkey is restless. Well, what will happen if the monkey is high on tequila? That's an agitating, restless monkey. Highly agitated, right? It's high on tequila. So don't think that your mind is only an instant gratification monkey, but it's high also. Oh, that's not enough. The monkey has been bitten. The monkey high on tequila has been bitten by a poisonous scorpion. And the poison is strong. So it just has made the monkey mad. So it's going here and there, dashing everything. It's strong. So while mind is restless, we find it agitating also. Not only agitating, it cannot be turned away, swayed away also. That's why we do meditation, to curb these tendencies. That's not enough. Monkey, high on tequila, bitten by a scorpion, and possessed by a ghost. That's obstinate. It will not change. You try reasoning out. No, that's not good for you. Try it hard, as much as you can. And therefore, the monkey grabs the wheel. So the rational decision maker thought that, no, it will nicely navigate the life, but somebody has grabbed the wheel. And then the monkey has jumped in the lap. So first he's confused. Is it a cute monkey or it will help me and then I'll cuddle? But sorry, that's a mistake. The monkey has taken the control. What happens when the monkey has taken the control? The panic monster, right? That's when we start panicking. If we have a little intelligence alive. Because monkey, high on tequila, bitten by poisonous scorpion, and or possessed by ghost. Now, interestingly, what happens when the panic monster comes? He screams. Both the monkey and the intelligence scream. And then the ostrich effect happens. You know the ostrich effect, right? The ostrich, instead of dealing, what does it do? Just put the head down. The problem does not exist. So this fellow is intelligence just goes to the restroom to rest. And what we see at individual, social, global level, it's been ruled by emotions. So what is the antidote? What can we do to curb this disease, right? First is from the yoga text, and here we'll try to bring the wisdom from Eastern wisdom, that time is a divine energy. The word uses kala. What? Kala. When Oppenheimer, you saw the movie, and well, movies used a lot of poetic license. I didn't see, but I'm a fan of screenplays, so I read the screenplay. And he quotes in Sanskrit, Kalos me. That I am the destroyer. That I am the destroyer of everything. So he also recognized, seeing the powerful force behind the atomic bomb, that how time is so important. So instead of fixing other things, fine, we'll fix other things, but first recognizing that the time actually is divine because it just does not wait for any material situation, right? I mean, I cannot say, oh, let's stop this clock. And then anyway, I can waste 4 hours and it will still stay at 6:45 and my flight was at 7 o'clock, right? So it doesn't work that way. When the clocks stop, we panic. And then we want to repair it. So we look at time as a divine energy. And this changes the perspective. When this perspective changes, we consider others' time also to be divine. It's not only our time, but the others' time also is important. So that's the first perspective change, okay? Time is a divine energy. It's just not cesium-138 atom, you know. Somewhere there is a clock with number of oscillations of whatever electrons of cesium-138 isotope. But only that is not time. All right. The second thing is cut the clutter. You have heard about visual noise, right? See, this room is so well organized. There's no visual noise. But then oftentimes when we enter into some rooms, there's a lot of visual noise. And then you feel, my Lord, what's happening? Where to begin, where to end? That's clutter. And studies have shown that the visual noise outside also gets here, the noise inside. And then that noise will just cloud a lot of things. And that's why people say that every place has a thing and everything has a place. Even removing visual noise, such tangible activity around can help cut the clutter even in our minds. So cutting the clutter externally and things which just do not matter because we have so much energy only and we can only deal with that. Okay, cutting the clutter. So far so good. What do you think would be the last? Time is a divine energy. Cut the clutter. What do you think? Third one.
Take action.
Huh?
Take action.
Take action.
Clearing the mind.
Well, I think you're very, you can say, you have a very preemptive approach. You're already going in the future.
Clear the mind.
Clear the mind is cut the clutter. I think disable distractions as much as possible. And if I may be allowed to say that, here distractions means Wi-Fi, not the phones. Well, phones can be the serpents, but the poisonous fangs are Wi-Fi. Just remove the Wi-Fi. Then we'll be back on those olden days where we'll wait for the postman. Heard those Victorian novels where you will wait for a letter. Nowadays, nobody waits. You don't respond. There's a call. Dude, what's up? So disable distractions. But how can we do so? I mean, it's whole day for us. We have to work at least for some hours. Let's dream without Wi-Fi. Let's dream without Wi-Fi, right? Not with the Wi-Fi on. So at least when we are sleeping, it can be off. And that's very useful because this helps us do the meditation in the morning without the clutter. Because if we wake up and there is an inanimate object grabbing our attention, meditation is doomed. Because meditation is about the I in us, the self in us, linking with divine. That's called yoga, right? Self is spiritual. Divine is spiritual. So what's a material thing doing in the between? It will only grab the linking. It will destroy the linking between the self and the divine. So disable the distractions as much as possible. Particularly also in our relationships, when we are talking, then to avoid that automatic disease of the hand going inside the pocket and bringing out the doomsday scrolling, we can disable the distractions. Okay? So let me pause here. The last part is a very short part and something you have already preempted, but I pause here. Any reflections so far we discussed? Anything which our online folks want to say? Anything which comes to your mind? Questions maybe we can take in the end, but anything which stuck with you?
Cutting the clutter.
Cutting the clutter.
Even not even material things, but even people's opinion and
Oh, yeah.
how much importance you give. That also causes it takes a lot of your brain
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. There is a Hindi saying, I'll translate it to English. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? So it rhymes in Hindi, but in English it means the biggest disease is the opinion of the other person. Opinion of the other, because no matter what you do, they will have opinions. Damned if you do, damned if you don't do. Because it's such a variety. We are taught in relationship management that the first premise to begin, before beginning the conversation, is to understand that, like you have your mind, the other has a mind also. What? Like you have your mind, the other too has a mind. Oftentimes we miss that. Yeah. So that's good. Important reflection. Any of our online folks, they want to share something? Manya, okay, she's saying feel free to unmute. Anybody? Or if they have typed something and I'm not able to see. All right. Okay, maybe we'll go forward. Now, what are the guiding actions? We have the antidotes that we cut the clutter, we disable the distractions, and we understand time is the divine energy. But two very solid guiding actions can help us. You know, this is like the overall ethos, such that the antidote will work. Now, there's an Eastern tradition of medicine. Maybe I think you're taking classes here also, or Ayurveda. So Ayur means life, Veda means knowledge, so the knowledge, life. And there is a concept of medicine and what we call anupan. Anupan means with what the medicine goes. Not all the medicines have to be taken with water. Some have to be taken with honey. Some have to be taken in different ways. That's equally important, because if the anupan, the supporting medium, is not there, the medicine won't work. So what's the first guiding action? Meaningful association. Not the association of those who walk around saying, one who has not missed the flight has not gotten his priorities right. Watch out. Soon you will also start repeating the same mantra or believing the same mantra. So the association of those who have put priorities in place and things are contagious. Yeah. So this is the first guiding action. And second is a very significant one. Ambience of goodness. What? Ambience of goodness. Now, our yoga traditions explain us that the entire material phenomenon is permeated by what we call the three modes. Three colors which color every material phenomenon. And we can already see it. When we wake up, things appear to be, unless we are groggy from the last night hangover, whatever, mornings are generally peaceful. And as the day progresses, there's certain action. And towards the night, we are tired. Right? So we already see that. And oftentimes these get mixed up also. These three modes are, you can repeat after me, sattva, which means goodness, rajas, which means passion, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's not the passion which we usually associate. Tamas, which means ignorance. Okay. Now, tamas mode, blue, I have shown it with the color blue, is characterized by a very helpless energy. Inactivity, helplessness. The rajas mode is characterized by overactivity and restless nature. We see that sometimes in ourselves also, right? And then our near ones will say, what happened to you? Where did the saint go? Does it happen? It's so funny, right? The person would be screaming at his near and dear ones. And then, maybe one of his student calls. And immediately the mood change. You have to be calm. You should not be angry so much. So immediate mode change. So with the near and dear one, it is shouting. But to somebody, if you have consolation, or which means there is a possibility in us to console ourselves. How did we change the mode, right? We were disturbed, but in order to give guidance to somebody else, we became aura over the head, which means we have the capability. Rajas, restless or overactivity. But the good mode is the goodness, which is balanced. And it is in the sattva mode, there's a heightened awareness. Because there is no restlessness and there is no helplessness. In helplessness, you think, well, who cares? It's too big of a task, and why should I do in the present? Restless, let's pull all the things to the urgent and the important. But when the sattva is there, the balanced mode, you know where to keep what. However, this must permeate everything. That's why it's an ambience of goodness, which means it must permeate our food, our daily lifestyle, the way we carry ourselves, the environment we live. Imagine you stay near a concert hall where they always have metal rock concerts. They bang the head, we'll start banging our heads, and the others will be banging their heads also. It is contagious. So we cannot say, I'm always eating the mode of goodness, eating food in the mode of goodness. But music in the mode of passion can infiltrate. That's why we said ambience of goodness. All right. So, what are the two guiding actions? Meaningful association of those for whom the spiritual way of understanding that time is divine energy, that clutter is not important, and who can put a stop on distractions, such association, and a general ambience of goodness in our lives, cleanliness in and out, food in the mood of goodness, just a balanced environment in the nature, so on and so forth. Okay, this brings me to the end of the talk, and let me summarize by pulling those slides. Disease, lack of awareness, then poor priority management, and third, VCD, voluntarily chose distraction. Next, world tries to sell us the distraction, and they will, because fat salaries are given. Once upon a time, we were part of that establishment in which our salaries were made. How can you design better, soft distractions, right? Ads, what are they? Who needs the ad? We had an ad in India about the girl, there are a lot of girls, and the boy is walking, and he has this shabbily falling hair, and nobody is giving him importance. Then comes the shampoo. This is shampoo. It was Fruitamins, I still remember. And the hairs are like swans. And all the girls are going oohs and ahs on him. Now you think about it, that's insult to the girl's intelligence, to the boy's intelligence, to the viewer's intelligence also. But it's the ad, and it gets into our head. Next time we look at Fruitamins, we will not think about insult to intelligence, but we'll think about maybe they will do oohs and ahs on me. We have been sold. So, voluntary chosen distractions. What's the antidote? Understand time is divine energy. Cut the clutter, disable distractions. And what are the two guiding actions which will help us quickly manifest this solution? Meaningful association and an ambience of goodness which permeates all our activity. With that, we end. Thank you. We have few minutes left to 7. We can take questions. See, I have to follow what I say, right? So if I have moved past 7, I would have welcomed the tomatoes and potatoes from you. Okay, questions we take? questions and reflections, and it will be very encouraging for me if you all can share some further reflections in our online audience also. What do you think about it? If you liked, even if you disliked, I'll be happy to hear. Yes.
One reflection.
Oh, maybe you can take this.
Oh, shall I? Okay. Preetham, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to share one reflection I had about digital clutter. Since you said remove Wi-Fi, I was thinking, can I remove Wi-Fi? Because like a lot of things I do depend on it. So I was thinking, okay, if not Wi-Fi, I can at least delete the clutter that I have, which is a lot also, which I think has to be prioritized. So it is important and I suppose urgent slash not urgent. There I'm a little confused, but definitely important.
Good one. Digital clutter. Okay, yeah. So he has a reflection, and Preetham, correct me if I'm distracting myself from what you said. So Preetham said that cutting the clutter reminded him of cutting the digital clutter because his work depends a lot on Wi-Fi. So maybe the Wi-Fi cannot be fully cut, but at least a lot of clutter in the form of digital items and things like that, correct? There can be removed, and he is deliberating whether it is urgent or not urgent, but certainly important. That's correct? Did I summarize correctly? Okay. Yeah. So good one, Preetham. Thank you. And there was any other comment?
Not loud. Angeline says, I love the reminder to cut clutter by removing visual noise. I can get very overwhelmed in a visually loud space and end up disconnected. It's a beautiful thing to be clear, to be of clear mind through clear, clean spaces.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Bhakti Studio is a very nice, just by coming here, we feel that clear, clear, clear. I mean, we don't have to have OCD also, right? So remember that Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Blood. And then he thinks, then he goes out. But he has to touch the gate also, then he has to remember. So we're not OCD, however, general cleanliness and keeping the space well organized. And that actually inspires us also. So Angeline, thank you very much for reinforcing that. More? Here, Franco. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ankita, you had something to say.
So you said that time is divine energy.
Yeah.
How we not take it for granted because it's as if this procrastination says that there is time. So let's procrastinate. How do we remind ourselves that time is divine energy and gone time is not going to return in its original form? Like,
Yeah.
in a human sense, how do we remind ourselves?
Yeah, by discussing about it again and again, because we cannot grasp time, right? And observing things around us. I mean, just look at ourselves. Time has gone. And the time we spent, maybe we just reminisce about it, maybe even not properly, right? Our memories are also mangled. Exactly, we do not remember. Some fortunate people have photographic memory, but that's a curse also, because they'll remember all the good and the bad. So just by thinking about it, we can know, oh, it's just going. I mean, I was just with Deepak. I arrived at his home on Monday, stay, and today's Wednesday. I mean, where did the 2 days go? And one good thing is that if you're happy, time passes by fast. If you're sad, just like this talk about tears also. Hot tears, I think, cold tears when you're happy. And there's also science. I think the cold tears perhaps come from the middle or from here, or vice versa. I do not know. So, yeah, observation. Observation. You want to share something to it?
Yeah, I just comment to that, like when you practice your meditation, so then you get to the point where the observer can go out,
Beautiful.
right? So when the observer go out and then you are on your phone losing your time, that's when the observer can come to you and say to the mantra, right? And say like, time is divine, and then without the judging, you can just say, okay, just gonna choosing another direction.
Beautiful.
And go from A to B.
Beautiful. Very nice. Yeah, that is what is talked about in our yoga wisdoms also. The observer is different from the observed. So, and whole process of mantra meditation, which I think here we do on Thursdays, is to disentangle the I, the real I, from the mind, so that I can observe. The thoughts will come, oceans of thoughts will come, but then I can observe. And sometimes we have metaphorical way of telling also, oh, just that person named anger entered my mind. It's like a room. Oh, he has entered anger. So I'm not the anger. So you identify it through personification also, but you have separated it, right? So very nice follow point on that. Thank you. More comments, thoughts? Anybody online? So, and you are also online. Yeah, okay. You're out of the matrix and in the matrix also. Okay, any further?
I have a
Papa?
question.
Yeah.
So like you said, one of the points was to keep some of us clean ones.
As much as possible.
Yeah. What if we are procrastinating with that?
Catch 22, right?
What if a partner is procrastinating?
Yeah.
We don't have anything in that.
Yeah, certainly my personal belief in life is that we cannot hammer people around us, because a person of some opinion and will is of the same opinion still. Like, against the will, if you convince, he or she will be the same opinion still, and they may even they may revolt also, right? We can do our part. The partner is there, we do our part, and hopefully the partner will do all the
Yes,
part.
inspired, maybe by our action.
That's the best thing. Francis of Assisi would say, preach all the time, if necessary, speak. So action is, yeah. But what if procrastinating? Yeah, what to do then? How to bootstrap, they say, right? You're in computer science, or the bootstrap problem, right? How do you start the computer? So maybe write in one corner, clean this corner first. Start somewhere. That's how we bootstrap, right?
Yeah.
It's called the seed. Now, I've just forgotten all AI, by the way. But initialization variable, they call it. You start somewhere, this corner only. And then there is an arrow after that. Start somewhere. I think what happens if we are not into it, just the task overwhelms us. And once we practice, then we know, oh, I just did it yesterday, last week. I began with A, reached B, and reached Z. I can do it today. And the muscle memory happens, and I think we become confident. Does that help you?
Yeah.
I don't know which corner you will choose. Choose the easiest corner. Maybe one which is already. By you, I meant anybody who is in that situation. Yeah. Any other thought? Apoorv, you have something to add?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The sattva, is that a balance? Should I view that as a balance of tamas and rajas?
Is it a balance of tamas and rajas? No, these are three different colors. Often we all have all three colors, and they keep fighting throughout the day. Idea is to increase the quantity of sattva. Rajas is there, and sometimes we harness also the activity to do the activity, but the predominant mode, if it's sattva, then we don't go berserk, right? Or we don't get depressed at the first failure. That happens in tamas. So we all have all three. I mean, how we sleep, that better be in ignorance, right? I mean, if you're super active, we cannot sleep. If you're super balanced, then we'll just preach or give sermons and not sleep either. So better we get tired up, and then we will sleep. So we all have all the modes. And when we speak, well, this is a little bit beyond the topic today. The yoga or the divine wisdom tells us to even go beyond these three modes, and that's called Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, which is not mixed. Because mixed, there is an issue. I mean, they will start competing each other, right? The rajas will come, but pure goodness is pure goodness, and that's actually a spiritual spiritual state. Yeah. Does that make sense? Thank you. We have time?
If I can,
Yeah, please.
Do one comment. So
Yeah.
just trying to tie up all the three different modes you're talking about,
Mm.
the sattva, and then not procrastinating. So just reflecting that when we have the purpose in our life, right? When we have a purpose, clear purpose, and that purpose can be in any of the modes, right? I can, in the mode of passion, where a boy is in love with a girl and just they have a date, and the boy will be ahead of time, will get there at the place and just waiting for the girl,
Good one.
right? Not, there's no question of procrastination, right? They are there like, okay. And similarly, in the mode of goodness, a mother is always ready for the child
Yeah.
to feed, nurture, whatever, right? Similarly, mode of passion at the work, right? If I have a deadline, I will work through the night and I will be very efficient, and then all the distractions will go,
Yes.
right? So purpose, I suppose, is very, very important in our life,
Yes.
right? And similarly, like even we see, like we laugh, like I'm from India, and we say IST time, Indian stretchable time.
Indian stretchable time.
Stretchable time, because you ask somebody to come on certain time, but they will invariably be always 15 minutes late or half an hour late, because
We
that's
got
how-
it Indian stretchable time.
So that's also like, but if you know that, hey, that appointment is very important. Let's say that's
It's basically priority management.
yeah,
the
priority
purpose.
management, interview, right? Then
Interview, yeah.
then I ahead of that. So I think for anything, I suppose once we define a clear purpose in our life, what it is, and as you are trying to, like, if I'm in a mode of goodness, then that is the priority I will always keep, because I know that's so important for my own self, my
Yes.
soul, right?
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you.
It makes all the sense, all the things we talked about.
We have in the balcony. You want to share something?
One statement that I once heard, which was, if we convince someone
Against
outside
the
against their
will, he retains the same opinion still.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
to your point, proceed.
Okay, good. Okay. Anybody else now online? Anybody wants? Yes.
I just wanted to say that first of all, I really appreciated the presentation and the visuals. It was so interesting, and I felt so engaged, especially the one with the monkey as the emoji. I was like laughing the whole time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Something that I related with was the box that you showed of important but urgent and not urgent. And I was reflecting how my personal values in some items may be important and urgent, but that they're shifting to another box. And it just helped me become more aware of that. And I want to try to do that exercise myself later and try to bring it back. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Manya. And thank you, Graham, for that heart sign. Okay, all right. So are we? And thank you so much. I enjoyed it. It was very discussion. It was good. Thank you for making my evening wonderful. And let's hope and wish and pray that we procrastinate procrastination. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Harivamsa. I was thinking about how you're a professor and you're used to giving classes to many, many people, and people pay good money to sit in a class with a professor with, in a smaller class size. And I feel like today you got to experience that smaller class size and really get that ability to interact with the teacher.
And I also got a good money. The money of attention. That's much more.
Yeah, I remember when I was in UW, often had in some of my classes, I'd be multitasking. Yes, and for those of you who are here with us in person or online, just wanted to share a little bit about what else we have happening at the studio. On Friday, we have Self-Care Lab. It's meant to just be a social event to meet other like-minded people. We will be making lip balms. And of course, I tell this story over and over again because I myself am not convinced, but someone told me. But I was like asking the instructor, isn't this just like a women's activity?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, your lips are dry, you should come. So regardless, it's a fun way to meet people. Then on Saturday, we have Kirtan Soul Fest, which is a form of mantra yoga, musical mantra meditation, and we have a visiting Kirtan leader named Amalan Kirtan. He's from Brazil, and that's where he came in touch with Kirtan. So he does a very nice fusion of Brazilian
Oh,
blend and culture with traditional
that's
Kirtans.
interesting.
So that's on Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. right here. And outside of that, we have other programs. We have a nice little nifty bulletin board which has some of that information, as well as a WhatsApp group if you want to stay in the loop at the studio. That being said, thank you. And we also actually have a book. So Harivamsa has written a book called Forest of Love, and the book is going to grab it and do a nice show and tell.
Yeah, actually, it will be good if you can. This is a wonderful, a nice book. If you can just give it 2 minute, yeah.
Even less than that. Well, this is a historical fiction. Many of you here would have heard about very famous historical fiction books of Charles Dickens, like A Tale of Two Cities or Hilary Mantel, Wolf Hall, which won the Booker. I'm not thinking about that, by the way. So this historical fiction is set in 16th century, and it talks about how spirituality emerged in northern part of the country in that 16th century as a result of nexus between Mughals, Rajputs, and the saints of Vrindavan. And the backdrop is the yoga wisdom. On it, there is a layer of art and architecture, and the third layer is of history, which has been very heavily researched. Original Persian documents also, and Sanskrit documents, and Braj Bhasha documents. And there is a romance also, there is a war, there is interfaith in it, and you will at least know many places in North India. Okay, so thank you. If you're interested, you can.
Yeah, we have a few copies available if you would like to buy it. It's $5 and you can get it signed. And that being said, we will formally end the session. And if you would like to ask any questions with Harivamsa personally or just stick around, we're happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's very good.